Good morning.
Good morning.
So I'm gonna switch in English right now. Hello, and I'm glad you accepted our invitation. Shall we begin?
Yeah, of course, we are ready.
Good. So I want to talk with you about the development of the implant division through innovation of Norway. And Raul, I want to ask you, what is the project you're working on, and now, what innovation does it bring?
Yeah, practically the passion for me for the medical industry started after I graduated my high school. I studied also for the 2 years of medical school, but after that I quit and I decided to focus more on the economic side, on the business side. So for there is also my passion for helping people and finding better solutions, because in the end we have to try to innovate, and I think it's extremely exciting if you can do something to help the people to improve their way, how they live their life. And now coming to our project, we started it back in 2018. Since then, I'm working to try to attract the necessary finance to develop these products. And since then, also we cooperate also with Link Medical. But actually, only last year we managed to receive the approval from Innovation Norway. Practically, they are our biggest financing partner for this project. We received a grant in value of 800,000 euro. And now practically we are developing the project, and we will be the first Romanian company that will do orthopedic implants. But besides that, we will do the orthopedic implants. Of course, our focus is also to innovate and come something new in the market, and not to focus really on what our competitors are doing. So we try to have like two type of products. We will have practically also the classical and standard products like the compression plates. Compression plates are practically used when you have a fracture and you have to heal your bone. But also we try to come with something new in the market. Our aim for the long term is to develop smart implants, because this, of course, is a trend today. You have to have everything smart. If you don't have smart products, then you are not within the market, or you don't count. And the second, our vision is to have some products that have like a dissolvable material. Practically, after you have a fracture, you should not need a second surgery to take the titanium implant outside your body. It should remain practically in your body, and after some time it will dissolve and will disappear. And this will create also a better comfort for the people, so that they should not need a second surgery, because any surgery represents also risk. And also our aim is to have some risk-free products, so that the people should be comfort in having a surgery and taking this type of products.
Thank you. But how did you guys meet, and when did you decide to create this partnership?
Yeah, practically it was back in 2018. One of the criteria from Innovation Norway is that we have to have a partner in the project from Norway. And when I started to look for a potential partner in Norway, my first decision was to try to look either for a research and development company from Norway, or something related to the medical side. And then at the moment when I found Link Medical, for me it was like a perfect fit, because they are the company that are offering us the necessary consultancy to develop practically our medical division. And then since 2018, we came together, but of course, the approval of the project came a little bit later. It came on in 2020. And since then, we are only teasing each other, not really working. Actually, only from this year, we started working together. So this is the short history about our cooperation with Link Medical. And first of all, what is for me the most important thing is that I wanted to have a leading company that should be near us, and to offer us the necessary consultancy to develop this division as fast as possible, and to be able to face theoretically our competition. And then when I read the history of Link Medical, for me it was the perfect fit to have together in our project like a strong company as theirs.
Thank you. But I want to create a framework. And Erwin, I want to ask you, what are the challenges in the medical market in the European Union, and how does it like right now in the pandemic context in 2021, almost 2022?
Yeah, well, there are a lot of challenges in the medical device regulation right now, because that is changing fundamentally from how it was. and it's becoming more and more strict. And basically what we see in the European market is that there's a strong harmonization of different regulations that apply to the fields where we as Link Medical operate. And then you talk about pharma, you talk about medical devices, you also talk about in vitro diagnostics. And that makes it so interesting for us also to work together with Olstral, because they already have a lot, or they apply to other regulations, especially for the aviation industry. And for us, it was truly fascinating to see that Olstral has a lot of the fundamentals that you need also for becoming a medical device manufacturer, that they had this in place. And we're basically now busy with figuring out how can we reuse what Olstral already has, and how can we apply the new regulations that apply for medical device companies. How can we apply those regulations to Olstral to make sure that we can bring them forward in the fastest and the most efficient way, and that we of course can work with the team that's already available at Olstral, so that we can basically educate them and help them to get on track as fast as possible, and to make sure that they can pass all the regulatory requirements for the future.
But how does the legislation look like in the field?
Right now, it's basically every medical device before it comes to the market has a number of requirements. And those requirements are, for example, that you need to have a quality management system according to a certain ISO standard, ISO 13485. But that one is a little bit different than the one that Olstral had in place right now, which is 9100 AS. And we help them to do that. And this quality management system is one of the fundamentals that you need to have in place under the new regulations, plus that you need to build a full dossier with a design history of the products you make. Once you have done that, you also need to test them in the field. You need to do a clinical evaluation to show that the products you have developed actually deliver what you claim they will deliver. Now that's a lengthy process, of course, and we are helping Olstral to make sure that they go through all these steps so that they can achieve the goal, and that is CE marking of your product under the medical device regulation. And once you have the CE mark, you can start selling your products throughout Europe. And I think that's the interesting part, that in this cooperation that we right now have, where Link Medical brings in the knowledge and expertise on the medical device regulation, Olstral is the company that does it and that will deliver products throughout Europe the moment they have their CE marking.
But okay, you mentioned the goals of the project, and I want to ask you, Raul, what are the main objectives of the project?
The main objectives of the project, of course, we would like to make for the people a little bit better the life, because there are two or three type of implants. Of course, there are the implants that you need to use them at the moment when you have an accident, and then are also some implants that people are afraid to take a surgery and put this type of implants because they are scared about it. And one of our goals is to have a product range of personalized implants, so that it should be like a perfect fit for the body, because also one of the biggest problems is to have a product that is 100% biocompatible for the body. And having this type of personalized implants, I think that the people could have a little bit more trust in choosing that product, and then they could improve their life. For example, also in for the dentists, many times they recommend for the people to put an implant because their life will change. They could, I don't know, have again the pleasure of eating what they like, but many times they're afraid of choosing this type of implant. But if the people would trust our product that they are risk-free and they don't have any problems on long term, then definitely they will choose it a little bit faster. So for us, in the end, the goal is to improve the life of the people. And for the Romanian market, our goal is to innovate and do something new. And as you mentioned also at the beginning, everybody in Romania is speaking only about the IT industry and doing something related to, I don't know, cryptocurrency now, or all kind of similar industries. But we try to do something more, I don't know, practical maybe. and to try to reborn this really special industry. So practically these are our two goals.
Okay, and I understand the challenges in the market, but what are the challenges in your project?
The challenges in our project, of course, our main challenge is that it is extremely difficult to find people that have this competence in Romania, because there is nobody that is doing this. So this is our biggest challenge. We have been able to establish now a young team that is working on this project, but of course, having no people with real experience, it's slowing a little bit down. But together with the help of Link Medical, I hope we can overpass this problem. And second challenge is the time. Of course, it's a really difficult process to obtain all the necessary approvals till you are able to sell your product. And we hope that it will be not really so difficult, not difficult. I mean, I hope it will go a little bit faster, so that in end of 2022 we should be able to have our first product in the market.
Okay, you were an optimist, I think. And Erwin, I want to ask you something. I want to ask you if you noticed some trends in 2021, and what do you think the market will look like in, let's say, 10 years? And also, Raul, I will ask you what the project, how the project will look like in 10 years.
Yeah, we'll leave now Erwin to say about the market, and then I will tell you also about our project.
Yeah. Basically what we see in the market right now is, of course, next to all the more conventional products that are being brought to the market, but with their innovations, we clearly see a lot of digitalization in the market, and especially the pandemic has already led to a situation where the medics are much more open to doing their jobs in a different way, remote consulting, etc. But what we in particularly see for us is that we see a lot more apps in the market. On your mobile, also the integration of wearables to monitor the progress of treatments, and that's something where I also see very nice and interesting options for Olstral, where you simply can use all the wearables and the apps to train and exercise people at home instead of having to go to the hospital each time again. But you can also monitor how well they mobilize after having their surgery for their fractures, for example. Simply because with a wearable, you can see exactly how mobile someone is and if someone does the right exercises. We also see a lot of robotics in the market. That was something that's already ongoing for quite a while, but it's becoming more and more accepted. And we see interesting projects like wearable exoskeletons that are now being reduced in size. And another interesting trend is, of course, the use of AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning to basically convert the way people and doctors think into algorithms that can be used then to come to decisions on treatments and on diagnosis. Yeah, and another topic is then what Raul already mentioned. Yeah, using innovative materials. There are a lot of nano-based materials nowadays in the market, but we also see that medical regulations is becoming much more strict when it comes to using those kind of materials. And of course, the use of biodegradable materials is also clearly something we see developing.
Okay, so then what you asked me before is where we see our company or our project in the next 5 to 10 years. We hope that our aim is to be a market leader in the European Union for production of orthopedic implants.
Okay,
so this is our aim.
And you said that in 2022 the project will be available in Romania also, and I want to ask you how you see the project, how you see the process. You enter in Romania and you make some partnerships, I think.
Could you please explain again the question? I could not really understand.
So how you will see the project in Romania?
Practically how will be our project in Romania? Definitely the project will be unique for us, and also it will be unique for the people that will work for this project, because as I mentioned already, there's nobody that is doing this. And second of all, what we hope that we can also help the Romanian medical industry to reduce their costs. We have also a competitive advantage that we have a lower cost compared to our competition. And then we hope that also the Romanian medical minister, the health ministry, could choose our products, and having local made products at lower costs, it will be also an advantage for them to work with us. But of course, this will take a little bit of time.
Okay, yeah, I understand that, of course. But you want to go in the other markets, like in USA?
For the moment, in the next 3 years, we will focus on the European Union, because now at the moment on what we are working, our product will be regulated and will be approved only for the European Union. So in this first three to 5 years, we will be only able to sell in European Union. And the market anyway is the second, third largest market. So we have enough time to focus on this for the moment. But on long term, after 5 years, definitely we will have to go also to the US market. There we need other type of approvals and other type of practically documents that we need to have them in place. And definitely probably, I don't know, 10 years to be also in the Asian market, but we never know.
But I think it's also very interesting to mention that with the change in the regulations in Europe right now, we not only see a harmonization between the different products like pharma, medical devices, in vitro diagnostics, but we also see that you get much closer to the way products are being evaluated in the US. And this is of course very interesting, because the moment you have all your procedures and basically evaluations of your products in place, and they're according to the European regulations, the bridge to going to the US will be significantly lower. Having said that, I think that what makes it so interesting for Olstral also to start this business right now is that they have a company with the skills and the expertise to make these kind of products. And of course, it's fascinating to see that they are basically expanding their capabilities from the aviation industry into the medical device industry, and that they are starting to compete also within the European Union. Because if you look at where currently a lot of manufacturers are located, that's more in Germany. Germany is the largest market in Europe for medical devices. And within the European Union, now that if you comply with all the rules and regulations that apply to medical devices, you will be able to open any market in Europe. And for Olstral, Romania is of course a great start, and I see a lot of potential, and I can imagine that also the Romanian doctors really would love to work with a Romanian company and to source their tools and products from this company. But I think that also has the potential to really expand and maybe to help other companies in Europe also to distribute their products.
But how can the European authorities or local authorities help you in your project?
At this stage, I think they don't really have any possibilities to help us. In the end, we have to comply to some regulations, and if we don't comply to the regulations, of course, we are not able to have the necessary approval for these products. But as we know, Georgiana, Erwin probably does not really know what is happening in Romania. The authorities are not really helpful to help young companies to do something innovative and to do something new. So I don't really expect that we will have too much help. In general, by today, we have had by today more steps backwards from the side of the authorities. In all the projects that we do, not only in the medical project, but we hope that one day also they will change their mind. But definitely we spoke already with many doctors, and the doctors are really excited that there is a company that started doing this. And as also Erwin mentioned, they will be really happy to use Romanian manufactured products and developed in Romania. This is for the side of the doctors. So they are really helpful, and already we have the team of doctors that try to give us advice, try to give us their experience with the actual implants with that they work. So from the medical side, definitely we will this.
Okay, thank you. And maybe you want to apply for European funds, to attract some money?
At this moment, we have two financial strategies. First, we have now the project with the Innovation Norway that is already approved, and we started it. Now we applied for a second project with Innovation Norway for a second grant, and we hope that they will approve it, but this will only probably in January and February. And then third, we are now writing a project based on Horizon 2022. And Horizon, I should explain you shortly what is Horizon. Horizon is the largest European budget for research and development. And when you write a project and when you apply for this type of projects, you apply directly at the European Union Council and you don't apply locally. And we hope also next year we should have this project approved. And in Romania, unfortunately, at this moment, there are no open calls for other type of European grants. So there we'll have to wait a little bit more.
Okay, thank you. And because our time is almost up, I want to ask you if you're optimist about the market, if the evolution of the market will be good.
Well, I think that for the product group that also wants to develop, it's pretty obvious. Even with home office, people will still fall, and people will still break their arms. Not that that's a hopeful outlook, but it's the reality, and it's a fact of life. So I expect that this market, and especially when you think about an aging population, this is a growth market, and the outlooks are very good because there will be a need for these kind of products, these kind of orthopedic products for the future in any country in Europe. And that means starting in Romania, but I'm pretty sure that also will be able to expand within Europe.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was reading recently an article written by some doctors from MIT, from the US, and they were saying that probably in 10 years we will be able to buy like replacement parts for our bodies. So we never know what we will reach, but probably one day we will be able to buy a replacement bone and not only to try to repair it. So this definitely the market will grow, and the trend, as everybody knows, is to improve our bodies, because we would like to live for a very long time, and then to be able to live, we have to have very good bodies.
Yeah, of course. But I want to ask you, Raul, my last question actually. What is your lesson from the last year? What is your my way forward phrase?
Yeah, regarding the pandemic, for us it was a really, really difficult time. But in the end, you have to take never no for an answer, and you have always to find a solution to break through and to change in what you are doing. Even before the pandemic, we were doing something. This is for any type of company, but after the pandemic, we have had to change our way forward, and you have always to try to find solutions beside on what you're doing today. So what I could advise to the people, you should never take no for an answer, and for any problem there is always a solution, and you have to fight for it, and one day I'm sure everybody will find it, but only with hard work you will always succeed.
And Erwin, what have you learned in the last year, and what piece of advice can you give us?
Yeah, what I've learned is pretty straightforward. I learned that working remotely is definitely a good and very attractive option. It's been totally fascinating for me. I was hired during the pandemic. That all went remotely. I hired new people in my team. That also went via remote. I have a team where I have not met some people ever in person so far. Raul and I know each other only remotely. We never shook hands, but it works very well. And I think that's a tremendous learning for me, that it doesn't require direct contact. in person to do successful business. And for me, it's very fascinating to see that the impact of the pandemic is huge on our lives, but on the other hand, you also can get a lot back for it. And for me, that means that you can focus a bit more on your personal life, which also is very good. And you need to have a good balance between working hard, but also having a good, enjoyable personal life.
Thank you, thank you. And before you will finish, I will sit in Romanian again. Vreau să mulțumesc sponsorilor noștri, respectiv BMW Romania, Carrefour, Nespresso, Imofinant, Taylor, Ron Petrol, Conoling, Nordis Group, Catena și Banca Transilvania. Okay. Now, because I finished that, because also I always I have to do this, and I'm afraid I'm not forgetting this. Thank you, Raul. Thank you, Erwin, for your presence.
Thank you also, Georgiana, and
My pleasure.
Thank Forbes Romania for the invitation to participate at your event.
I know you'll do well with your project. I know you do.
Yeah, we're definitely sure. We always
Wish you good luck, both of you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.